shot of the day. Give it up for Claudia Garcia.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay. I'll start off with a quote I heard in a movie. What's the point of being at your fighting weight if you're not going to fight? Well, I believe if you're here, you're already at your fighting weight. Whatever the reason that brought you here, for me, when I walked in these doors 10 years ago, I never wanted to work here. Probation said, you either go to school or work. School didn't turn out so well. When we got to the fractions part, I left. So I came here, started just like everyone else, cleaning and taking classes. Not really putting any effort into anything. I ended up in the cafe, started in prep where everyone starts. I was comfortable there. I didn't have any motivation to be anything but a prep. I could cut potatoes all day, and I did. You see, a year into being here at Homeboys, the wreckage of my past caught up to me. There was a knock on my door at 4 a.m., and those are never good. I couldn't believe that was happening at that point in my life. Long story short, my mom put up her house to get me out, and I had that case hanging over my head for a year and a half. Eventually, I was going to prison and facing deportation because of my charges. I just didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Once in prison, I realized I was given an opportunity to be in this country and had taken it for granted. I never accomplished anything worth mentioning, but most importantly, I never did anything that my boys can be proud of. With their dads now being deported, what kind of life were they going to live? That's when the fight started. I went to the law library and educated myself in anything I needed to know about going through the immigration process. After prison, I ended up in ICE custody, and that was a whole new world. I was to remain in custody for 6 months before being eligible for the Rodriguez bail hearing. After 5 months of witnessing many people being deported, I requested a transfer to a different facility with a different judge. I remember at one of the many stops, I was given a jacket along with a group of other women. They said we were leaving to Mexico early in the morning. You never know how bad your Spanish is until you have to defend yourself in more than one sentence. I remember telling them that they were going to take me kicking and screaming because I wasn't getting on that bus. I wanted to sound like I knew what I was talking about. I told them I had a lawyer, a green card, and I had the right to see a judge. I was only a transfer. They came back and took the jacket from me after they so-called checked my file. On my 6th month and my day in court, the longest day of what felt like being in trial, the judge said he needed time to make a decision. He needed 2, then 3 days. The prosecutor had painted the worst picture of me. But on the other hand, I had a stack of letters, my GED that I got here, with the help of a tutor, of course, for those damn fractions. A courtroom full of family and friends. On the 3rd day, I called home. Judge had made a decision, $75,000 bail. It took a while, but I got out. I've been out on bail almost 6 years now, with nothing to fight really, just buying time with my kids. Hoping for a miracle. But I knew I had to keep fighting. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I've been through enough courts to know something wasn't right and there were mistakes. Every lawyer I take my case to would turn it down once they see what agency had arrested me. They'd say, they never make mistakes and you'll just piss them off and go back to prison. But what they didn't know is that sometimes I like to piss people off. Some said I was wrong and wasting my time and my money, until finally a lawyer saw what I saw. A small technicality that made a big difference. I was still holding on to hope, but most of all, I had faith that God didn't bring me this far to let me fall. In February of this year, I got a court date after 3 years, and I was scared. This was it. This was my plan A, B, and C. I walked out of that courtroom shocked, full of mixed emotions, and a bit confused. It didn't seem real. I remember saying, I think we won. Because I didn't give up, I put up the biggest fight. In a few months, I'll be preparing for my final immigration hearing. The fight continues because I didn't give up. So I leave you with this. Now that you've reached your fighting weight, what are you going to do?
So one more time.